Speaking of not convinced, I want to talk about someone else who was asked a very similar question about the AI bubble. Sam Altman went on a podcast. The podcast was like 100% glazing Sam Altman, OpenAI, the AI boom, what's coming next? The BG2 podcast, I'm sorry. He asked one simple question. If you were someone who really believed this is not a dangerous line of thought, you should be able to answer this question relatively. You should be prepared for this question. This is an important question that everyone's asking. And instead, Sam Altman gets really defensive.
How can a company with 13 billion in revenues make 1.4 trillion of spend commitments? You know, and you've heard the criticism,
First
Sam.
of all, we're doing well more revenue than that. Second of all, Brad, if you want to sell your shares, I'll find you a buyer. We do plan for revenue to grow steeply. Revenue is growing steeply. We are taking a forward bet that it's going to continue to grow, and that not only will ChatGPT keep growing, but we will be able to become one of the important AI clouds that our consumer device business will.
Look, I'm letting him speak. But I have a lot to say at the end of this.
There are not many times that I want to be a public company, but one of the rare times it's appealing is when those people are writing these ridiculous OpenAI is about to go out of business and, whatever. I would love to tell them they could just short the stock, and I would love to see them get burned on that.
For a guy that hates Elon Musk, he sounds exactly like him. This is the classic playbook. Someone gives you a legitimate question, a legitimate numbers question. How come you guys make no money? You have relatively small revenue and no profit, yet you're promising in the relatively near future to have trillions of dollars to spend. Every day you assign new deals, new promises. They signed, 500 billion with Oracle. They signed billions with CoreWeave. They signed billions with AMD. They signed billions with NVIDIA. They just signed billions with Amazon just today. I saw this funny tweet. OpenAI, the compute purchase order press release company. In recent weeks and months, that's what they become. All they do is just put out press releases of what they're gonna buy more data centers, and they don't have any of the money for it. And so if somebody asks like, hey, where are you gonna get the money for all these announcements? For the $1 billion, what was the Amazon, OpenAI? $38 billion computing deal with Amazon. Again, just to be clear, I mean, this title could seem like, what does that mean? OpenAI is saying we're gonna pay $38 billion to Amazon to build out data centers for us to use in the cloud. Their spending commitments are now closing at a 1.5 trillion, but they don't have this money. So it's a fair question to be like, okay, buddy, everyone in the world is now starting work on projects you promised to pay for. When are you gonna be able to pay for it? And this is from a friendly interviewer, an interviewer that's on his side. And his response immediately is to get super duper defensive.
A company with 13 billion in revenues make 1.4 trillion of spend commitments, and you've heard the criticism,
First
Sam.
of all, we're doing well more revenue.
He just looks up in the sky like he's obviously lying, pathological liar. Everyone can see that you're getting increasingly desperate for this revenue, whether it's the Sora AI slop generator, whether it's you're rolling out the chat sex bot, whether it's the new prices on tokens for video generation. Like, you're clearly trying to drum up some more money to make this worthwhile. If you had a solid answer, then I would give that. You should say that. You should be like, hey, listen, this is our direct plan. This is how we're going to pay for it. But it feels like you're spinning plates, a bit of a house of cards. And the idea seems to be more to get so many commitments to so many people that you're too big to fail. That's the idea that it seems to be to me. Not that you have a real business plan. This is a good Wall Street Journal article. Is OpenAI becoming too big to fail? To make yourself so important to every major tech player and have so many press releases out and tying yourself with so many billions that if you were to fail, it would tank the stock market entirely. And then, Trump would have to bail you out. That seems to be the plan more than anything, than any actual business reason. And this is becoming more and more clear. So, if you owe somebody $1 billion, if you owe somebody $1 million, that's your problem. But if you owe a bunch of people $1.5 trillion and everything is riding on it, that's their problem. I think he's like tripling down on the borrowing. If it was one deal that flopped, well, you're fine. But if every deal flops, then someone's got to bail you out. And I think he's avoiding this question. And it's just a classic defensive stock pumper strategy to go back to the stock. Be like, well, then sell your shares. Sell your shares then if you don't think, it's just, it's the shorters, the FUD. It sounds like Elon again. It's like pump. OpenAI asking the government for $1 trillion. Wait, what, did this just happen? What the fuck is this?
So the question is, how long does a chip remain on the frontier? Is it 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, or even longer? Now, in a world where we...
It's neither of those. It's like 1 to 2 years, 3 at max. Just to be clear, if you're trying to be the cutting edge AI model on the latest chip that comes out basically every year, if you bought a bunch of GPUs, you can't pretend that they're going to be useful in 5 years if you want to be the cutting edge latest model.
If the timeline on the chip stays short, that gets harder. And so this is where we're looking for an ecosystem of banks,
6-7, by the way.
private equity, maybe even governmental, the ways governments can come to bear.
Meaning like a federal subsidy or something?
Meaning like just first of all, the backstop, the guarantee that allows the financing to happen. That.
Oh, really? Oh, really? You want to take out a massive loan to buy NVIDIA chips every year, and you want the government to backstop that loan. They are getting desperate.
So some federal backstop for chip investment.
Exactly.
This company is going to blow up the whole economy, I swear to God. OpenAI is deranged, dude. Every day they announce a new gazillion dollar goddamn deal they can't afford, and they are just going to try to get the government to bail them out. And it's actually so obvious now.
And I think we're seeing that. I think the US government in particular has been incredibly forward-leaning, has really understood that AI is almost a national strategic asset.
I want to say, it's funny because what China does is they don't pick a winner or a loser. They have the competition. It's more capitalistic than ours. They don't pick a company and give them money. They will do something like subsidize data center costs or energy costs and say anyone who uses any Chinese chips can get this subsidy. And then everybody competes viciously. And then a winner emerges, and then they usually put someone from the CCP on the board, okay? Yes, they do that, and I don't like that part, but they do that. There's vicious competition, and then a winner emerges. But what we're doing is like picking the already bigger company, like OpenAI or whatever, and saying they have to win or the US government has wasted all this money. That's way more of a dangerous bet. Or Intel, or we're like, you don't get real innovation or real figuring out what consumers actually want or what works. Hasn't Google already surpassed them? I don't know about Google, but I will say that Anthropic and Claude, some of you are developers, right? Some of you are CS devs. For corporate use, for like companies paying for AI, Claude has already passed OpenAI. It passed them recently, and it's like heading up, OpenAI heading down. Companies are spending more money on Claude than they are on OpenAI. And corporate accounts are where the real money is in this type of thing. So yeah, again, OpenAI, it feels like a bad business, bro. I don't like, people use ChatGPT, but only because most of them on the free plan. And if they did pay, they'll pay a small amount. So there's just not, is Claude the same thing as ChatGPT? I mean, it's an LLM. Yeah, but Claude is different in that it is, in a corporate environment, it's like better for coding. And they've built like features, like while OpenAI focused on a lot of different crap, like let's make short form video, let's make a role play bot. Claude has been laser focused on like corporate clients, on getting the right features for someone in a corporation that wants to buy AI that helps their developers. And I think Anthropic is kind of eating OpenAI's lunch on this corporate money.
You know, is there something in the works that's tangible?
Nothing,
and sort of...
No, I love you, Sarah, but nothing to announce, nothing that's going on right now.
If you wanted to, we're here to listen.
That honestly is a chilling interview to see. The CFO of OpenAI basically saying we're gonna need government backstops on our loans. That's crazy. That's a crazy thing to say. I'll be honest with you. It feels like a small little thing, but that is crazy. That is a crazy, chilling interview. I just hope that doesn't happen. That's wow, that's a bad idea. What is a backstop? It's like the government guaranteeing the loan if you can't pay it. You know, it's like if you're trying to get a house and you can't afford it and your parents step in and sign the mortgage. What that means is if you can't make your payments, then the debt falls to your parents. But that allows you to get a better interest rate. You know what I'm saying? It gives you, they're a guarantor. And so if the government comes in and backstops AI loans for, ChatGPT to buy a bunch of NVIDIA chips, and they end up not being able to pay it, it falls on the taxpayer. They have no incentive to pay the loan. I mean, look, if they have the money, they'll pay the loan, but the truth of the matter is that OpenAI is signing deals they cannot afford straight up. That is the fact. They are constantly telling everyone that they're good for it. Constantly, every day. Every 3 days, there's a news announcement like OpenAI signed $78 billion deal with Amazon. OpenAI signs $200 billion deal with AMD. OpenAI signs, and it's like, you don't have the money for any of this. Sam Altman knows how to tell a story, though? I guess he does. They will have an IPO. That could also happen. They could dump this thing on the public. They could do that. It's actually not that crazy. They could absolutely dump OpenAI on the public, especially because the name is so hot right now. Everyone will fucking buy in. That would work. That would also let them raise money to keep things going. That's not out of the table. But yeah, that's like a non-profit profit structure. I don't know how it worked, but they probably could do it. Jensen Huang says China will win AI race with US 2 hours ago. In the starkest comments yet from the head of the world's most valuable company, Huang told the FT China's going to win the AI race. I mean, this is the type of thing you say if you want the government to step in and fucking buy NVIDIA chips. I'm just being real. If you were trying to make sure that the Stargate project or something gets funded by the government, you would try to make a lot of fear over falling behind geopolitically with China. But there could definitely be some truth. I will say this is actually fucking true, straight up, which is that China just announced like a week ago, not even that long ago, that they are going to have, as in they'll pay half of your energy bill for an AI data center if you only use Chinese chips, which is pretty fucking crazy. So if you build a data center in China and you use Chinese chips instead of NVIDIA ones, they will pay half your energy costs with the fucking government, which is crazy. It's funny because half of you are spamming, wow, based Chinese century Xi Jinping. And then you also, in a different environment, are like, I hate AI data centers, they shouldn't be built. Like, this is like leading to a massive surge of AI data center building. So your fucking, your logic makes no sense and your fucking philosophies are Twitch chat pilled and stupid, but I do agree that this is going, it's helpful for their attempt at leadership. It definitely is an advantage because I'm thinking more and more with AI that the advantage is not sustainable in the training or the data set. Like everything seems to even out over time. All the models catch up to each other. Whatever one has a lead for 3 months in some area, it always gets caught up to, and then it gets open sourced. And so the only advantage is in the scale of your energy production and your data center. It's like if the country that has the cheapest and most abundant energy is going to have the advantage more than any fucking tech breakthrough. And China's building fucking 12 nuclear plants and solar panels the size of Chicago. You know, they're like full speed ahead on energy production. And if they're going to subsidize that part of the cost, then I do think there's some points to what Jensen Huang is saying. It's funny because I think he wouldn't have said this a year ago, because a year ago, Jensen was still trying to both sides this and sell chips to everybody. But now that China has completely fucking cut off sales of buying NVIDIA chips, there's no point in him trying to be like friendly to China.